Hey everyone, welcome to part 7 of the October series where people in the WhatsApp groups are sending me 5 to 6 different questions that I am answering. We've done a series like this before. I think Jade was the last one that's done it. If you want to know how to get into the WhatsApp groups, Phil at OCDrecovery.com, coming to a webinar or coaching call. Even if you want to try things out, come to a webinar, right? Every Tuesday, 1:30 my time, 8:30 p.m. UK time. It's a lot of fun. Different topics. Different people will be there. I'm in every single one. Sam's at most. Rob drops in here and there. Moments of the lot. Phil will be there. There's just a lot. It's really good to get to see how the company operates and what makes us so different than any other really organization in the OCD and anxiety space, in my opinion, is because we're all severe chronic OCD sufferers who have come out the other side to show you all the myths, where people go wrong, the nuances, etc. So today is part 7 of this series. These are 5 questions that someone sent me yesterday. They wrote them on their computer and then took a screenshot of it, so I had to write it down because I couldn't send the image to my computer for some reason. So the first thing they wanted me to talk about was time management. Now, I've been working on time management for the better part of 12 to 15 years, right? Undergrad for 5 years, graduate school for 3.5, life for about 6, with OCD sprinkled in there and getting progressively worse until around 2019, where it got really bad. And then 2019, November, I was in the mental hospital. So time management, a lot of people go wrong. And I do want to combine one, which is time management, and an indecision, which is number 5. So they want me to talk about time management and talk about indecision because they're linked. Most people don't succeed at endeavors in their life because of a couple different reasons. We don't need books to explain it. They don't want to take risk. People like the comfort of the routine, understandable. And they look for too much information in order to figure out a best path forward. That's the biggest mistake in human being history. Top 3 biggest mistakes. I don't care what you look like, where you're from, what you believe in, religion, whether you're atheist, Christian, Catholic, Islam, what you do for work, career-wise, or you're married, or you're single. The number 1 biggest mistake is indecision and the lack of risk. Some are going to be more calculated than others. A lot of people just pop kids out and have 5, 6 kids and they live in LA and things are very expensive. Then they wonder why. So yeah, you're going to probably want to think about these things a little bit more than some people do, but there's reasons why people don't do it. Time management comes down to one thing and one thing only: decreasing the procrastination time to action. I talk about this all the time, so I'll say it again. So this is a thought of making a decision. And then this is potentially you making the decision. And all of this is procrastination. Their goal is to remove that for most things. I can only think of like 4 or 6 different things in your life that require a large amount of thought, usually, which is the big things like buying a house or children or where you want to get married. But even that, but like little things, people will spend an hour about what they want to eat at a restaurant. I mean, I don't waste time with that. When I go to an Italian restaurant, I know I'm getting chicken parm sub, penne vodka sauce, boom. Like that, I don't even need the menu. Just like, that's what I want. That's what I came here for. And some people might say that, well, that takes out the fun in life. But in this way, I don't think it does. I think the indecision part actually takes out a lot of the spontaneity, which comes from the risk itself, that you could order something and not like it. So it comes down to just making decisions. Most things that people are looking to make a decision on in their life require less than 60 seconds of a decision, minimum. I know it's a blanket statement in many ways, but I just can't see, like, do I want to go this way or that way? Or do I want to do a YouTube video now or later? Just turn the camera on and make the YouTube video. Okay, that's the best way to do it. So there's a lot of stuff about like how to manage, and I've read a lot of books on time management. I learned a lot from those books. But after a while, I realized that even reading time management books was kind of useless for me because I had read so many of them. And I was like, I don't need any more information. I just have to make action. So that's the biggest problem with time management indecision. The second question, which was communication with relationships. How do we know if it's too little or too much? So that's number 1 reassurance question, right? There's no such thing as too little or too much. You could talk to 1,000 different people. You're going to get 1,000 different answers or 1,000 different variations to some degree, even if the answers were similar. It's about risk-taking, which then goes back to indecision, which was question number 5. It's interesting how you asked me to talk about indecision, and then this question is indecision, right? Which is so is the next one after this, which is losing intuition. So again, like, I don't know if this is me. I don't know who my true self is. Oh, my gut feeling, etc. It just comes down to indecision again. So I don't believe in these things that people are, too little or too much. Whatever you do is going to have consequences. If you pester your roommate or you pester your loved ones, there's a good possibility that they're not going to like that. Just the reality of life. Some people pester people over small things. Some people don't bring anything up. There's no right or wrong way to go about this. There's just actions, repeatable actions that usually cause problems in communication in the relationship. So this will just come down to taking risk. Sometimes you might over communicate. Sometimes you'll under communicate. That's not the problem. The problem is I need to know what is the correct amount to communicate, not particularly how much you're communicating. So the next question was about losing intuition. So I don't believe in intuition. I never have. Luckily for me, this has never affected me. I don't believe in the true self. I don't believe in good or evil or any of that stuff. These are just human constructs. So just because you have a feeling about something does not necessarily mean you're correct. That's not a reassurance. It's just the way things are. So when people say, well, I had this intuition to have a fourth kid. I'm like, all right, well, where do you live? And they say, I live in Denver, which is an expensive city. Okay, how much money you make a year? $50,000 a year. What's your partner make? 62. So you make $112,000 a year in a very expensive city that got hit by inflation horrendously in the last 4 years, and you want a fourth child. This might not be a smart decision. That's the mature, you don't have to say it that abruptly, but it's like, hey, you should look about these things, etc. I'm just using that for the example. That intuition of like, I should have a fourth kid, that might not be an intelligent decision. Doesn't make them a stupid person. It makes the decision potentially extremely stupid. And that is what's the biggest fly? Oh my God. Look at that. Dude, what are you doing? Holy crap. That thing is like the horsefly of horseflies. Holy crap. Hey. You. Damn. I was like, what the hell was on my head? Spow the horse. That thing was like that big, dude. That was nuts. Okay. So. Sometimes I do things and I'm like, that's going to look so funny on camera. That's one of those things right there. So if you're looking for emotions attached to this intuition to tell you whether what you're doing is right or wrong, you're going to be in for a bumpy ride in life. So a best example, this goes back to communication. One thing that makes Erica smile is saying, I hope you're having a good day and I love you. I try to text that at least once a day. I'm going to text it right after this video. There's no intuition in that when I'm doing it. Work is the same thing. Well, my intuition tells me I really shouldn't be here. Well, if you're only intuition is feeling based primarily. That's not how you live a potentially good life. And I know good can mean different things to different people, but let's just take it at face value. Careers are what, when you meet someone and they're 32 years old and they've got, I've had 19 jobs. It's usually not a good sign. Well, I want to try things out. Still not usually a good sign. Most people are better off trying a couple things and then potentially taking the risk of doing that one thing and making a stab at that, and then realizing there'll be up and down days, things you don't like or things you do like, and trying to not operate solely off decisions. This is a decisions based on emotion. We are emotional-based creatures. You're not trying to be, you hear a lot of people say, well, stoicism is a lack of emotions. It's a misunderstanding of stoicism. It's regulation of your emotions. And not in like the ADHD people where they say I'm dysregulated. I don't use that term, and I probably have very severe ADHD. I just don't like that term. So the next one is frustration. This is the best question in my opinion on here. Frustration tolerance around truly rude things. And I didn't write this down, but they were like, friend comes over, pees on the toilet seat. Girlfriend stains the new sheets with chocolate were the two examples they use. I've made this mistake a million times. So this is one I really wanted to work on myself. There are things that absolutely will be frustrating, but I realize that it's still not worth it 99.9% of the time to get upset. Also, we can work on how we communicate, which was question number 2 of, hey, look, I saw that you did this. I bought the sheets. I really like these sheets. Again, you're not going to get this right off the bat if you've had a hard time with controlling your emotions. That doesn't mean stopping the emotions. It means your body is sending you emotional signals, depression, anger, grown responses, shame, guilt, and then you're trying to respond in an appropriate manner, which people don't think is possible, but it just takes time to work on that. So we're not saying that things can't annoy you. It's the overreaction. But then people go to the other extreme. Well, you're telling me I can never bring it up. No, but when you bring it up, try to bring it up in a balanced manner. It's not about things never bothering you again. It's about getting to a place to where there's very few things on this planet that really probably require the level of anger, if anything requires that, because it doesn't really do what we think it does in many ways. Well, anger solved World War II. Yeah, but 50 to 70 million people died. So it's hard to say. That's just one example of millions that we could use around the world. I mean, think about gang retaliations. Yeah, it seemed justified until you're now in jail for the rest of your life because you murdered someone. So it doesn't mean you're not getting upset about something. It's the reaction that you have outwardly to let people know, not what you're feeling inside of your body. So, and again, you could speak your mind. There's a lot of things that I speak my mind to about Erica in certain ways, but a lot of things I don't anymore because it's not worth it. Maybe she's pestering me about something at night because she had a long day, and this is what humans do. I do the same thing to her, and I just say, no problem, babe, I'll do that. Just not worth it bringing up. I take a calculated risk in that moment. Could be wrong, don't really care, and then I just go for it, and I go from that. So that's because I don't mind being wrong in that sense. But again, what's better off at that? Maybe cleaning it the one time and just not saying anything. Maybe that friend's always come over and there's piss in your toilet seat. Be like, hey man, like I noticed when you pee, you're getting, pee on my toilet seat. I would like if you did that. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to listen. Then you have to make a decision. Is it worth losing a friend or getting into an argument? Or can I just bite the bullet, bite the frustration? Because I brought this up in a calm manner, maybe once or twice, and then going from there. So thank you again. Phil at OCDrecovery.com. Let me know what you think. This is a very important topic. Great questions, by the way. Again, I think time management is covered just way too much. Way too much information on time management. Just try to close the gap between procrastination and action. Try to close that gap, and then indecision, close that gap with the potential of being wrong. Thank you again. Always great to see all of you and hear from all of you. Hope to hear from you soon. See you in the webinar and coaching call. Have a good one, everyone.